Welcome to episode 133 of the Vacation Kingdoms podcast, your ultimate guide to planning your perfect Walt Disney World vacation. Whether you're a first timer to Disney or a seasoned visitor looking for new adventures, this podcast is your go-to destination for all things Walt Disney World. My name is Conor Brown, and I'm a former Walt Disney World cast member, current Orlando local, and a seasoned travel advisor specializing in Disney vacations. I love being able to share my expertise and experience with you through this podcast. If you're a new listener here, welcome to the show. Feel free to go back and check out all of our old podcast episodes covering a wide variety of Walt Disney World related topics. If you're a longtime listener, welcome back. Thanks for being here. If you enjoy the show, please be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. For those of you watching on YouTube, here's a wave for you. Hi, YouTube. I'm waving to you. I hope you like my beautiful mug. I hope you like my hat, my cool Disney hat. Retro Walt Disney World Mickey Mouse hat I got on. Anyways, if you're watching on YouTube, hello. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel, hit the bell icon so that you're notified every time we post a new Walt Disney World related video. In today's episode, I'm sharing all of the major Disney parks announcements that were made this weekend at D23 Expo, the ultimate Disney fan event. I'll be discussing what we know and what we don't know about each announcement. There's so much we have to cover, so let's get into it. So I guess we should start with D23 Expo. What is it? If you don't know what D23 Expo is, think of it like Comic-Con for Disney fans, but it's put on by the Disney Corporation. It happens every other year, biannual. I always think biannual is twice a year because bicycle. Every other year, D23 Expo happens out in Anaheim, California, just a stone's throw from the Disneyland resort. It is a huge convention. It has a huge expo center. It has a lot of different panels talking about certain Disney things. But the major things that happen are the announcements. The announcements from the studio sides of things. So new films that are coming for Pixar, Marvel, Disney, live entertainment, those sorts of things. But then also probably the thing that I get the most excited about, and most people get the most excited about, is the Parks panel. The Parks panel is when they give updates on other ongoing projects that they have in the can, and they give new updates and let us know what else is coming to the parks. This is where we get the big news announcements, the surprises, the new additions to the parks around the world. The last two iterations of D23 Expo, well, one was 2020, so that was canceled. And then 2022 was kind of a lackluster time for announcements when it came to the domestic theme parks. Last year, they had an off-cycle D23 event that they called Destination D, which happens in Orlando, Florida. So the off year, when D23 Expo doesn't occur, there's a smaller little fan expo that happens here in Orlando, and they do announce some things at that one. It was all blue sky during then, which basically means, what if? What if we did this? What if we did that? Super early stations, super early discussions. Those sorts of things that were announced weren't really announced, right? Because they're not actual announcements. So it was a lot of, here's an idea, what do you think? Nothing concrete. And I think that upset a lot of Disney fans. So they were hoping when it came time for this year's D23 Expo 2024, we needed a lot of big time announcements, and Disney sure did deliver. We got a lot of announcements when it comes to the Disney theme parks, and for each announcement, it gets a varying level of detail. With some announcements, we were told they're in active development. We are given a lot of specifics around them, but a lot of other ones, we are given some, I guess, less detailed announcements when it comes to it. One other thing that I think is important to keep in mind is even though that all of these things were said to be in development and actively being worked on, in past D23s, things have been announced that have never come to fruition as well. be it budget cuts, be it pandemic, be it they just didn't want to do it going forward. So I would say this: until all of these things are open, it is just that, an announcement of maybe something to come. Most of them are pretty fairly quite concrete in some instances, but others that are more, I guess, ever evolving, it remains to be seen when they will actually come to fruition. So that's why I want to share not only announcements, but all the details we currently have. So that we can get everything right. Listen, this is Vacation Kingdoms, our flagship podcast here, and we really focus exclusively on Walt Disney World when it comes to the Vacation Kingdoms podcast. That being said, in this episode, I will be sharing Disney Cruise Line announcements, even though we have a Disney Cruise Line podcast, Ahoy, that we call it. I'm going to share some on this episode, and then I'll talk in further detail about Disney Cruise Line announcements on Ahoy, on a future episode of Ahoy. But I'm also going to be sharing some Disneyland, the California park, announcements here as well, just because I think they're fun to talk about. There were several international announcements, so announcements for the theme parks globally beyond the States. I'm not going to dive into them right now here. There are some really cool ones. Hello, Lion King Land out in Disneyland Paris. But head over to the Disney Parks blog, disneyparksblog.com, to learn more about the international announcements. With all that being said, let's dive into the OG park, shall we? Disneyland. What was announced that's coming to Disneyland at D23? Well, first things first, Disneyland is about to celebrate its 70th anniversary out in, I guess it should start July of 2025, which would mark the 70th anniversary. And like all anniversaries that Disney does, probably will go on for 18 months or something like that. New things will be coming to the park, but one thing that I'm very, very, very excited about is that Disneyland is getting a Walt Disney the Man animatronic, and that is coming in 2025. My best guess is that it will be ready to roll for whenever they do start the 70th anniversary in 2025. It's going to be a show in the Main Street Opera House, which is right on Main Street as you walk into the park. Currently in that theater, they're showing Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln. When this debuts, and it's going to be called Walt Disney, A Magical Life. In its inaugural season, that's going to be the only show playing in the Main Street Opera House at Disneyland Park. But once its inaugural season is over, it will go back and forth between Walt Disney: A Magical Life and Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln. So probably one show will be Walt Disney: A Magical Life, and then the next show of the day will be Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln, and so on and so forth. This is going to be the first ever audio animatronic of Walt Disney himself. We've gotten recent statues of Walt Disney here in Epcot in Florida, Dreamers Point. We have Walt sitting down looking over the expansive area. But this is going to be very, very cool because it's going to be him interacting with the audience, telling the story of his life. I'm super, super, super excited about this as, of course, a Walt Disney the Man fan, but I think it's just going to be cool to see this historical kind of perspective on Walt Disney's life in a very historical park in Disneyland right at the front of the park. So that's really cool. One other thing coming to Disneyland, proper Disneyland Park, Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Of course, I've shared all the details and my experience riding Tiana's Bayou Adventure here in Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World in Orlando. Our version has already opened. But Disneyland is getting a version as well. It should be quite similar. Some differences, much like its iteration of Splash Mountain, which was the original attraction in this location, was different from Disney World's Splash Mountain. So I think that those differences will remain. But Tiana's Bayou Adventure will open on November 15th at Disneyland. And one other important thing that Disney announced is that Critter Country, where Splash Mountain used to be, where Winnie the Pooh, the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh, where Hungry Bear restaurant is, those sorts of things. That area used to be called Critter Country. It is now becoming Bayou Country. So with the opening of Tiana's Bayou Adventure, that area is becoming Bayou Country. Let's shift gears quickly and walk just across the Esplanade from Disneyland Park. We're going to go into Disney California Adventure, the second park at Disneyland Resort in California, because it was announced that a Coco attraction, the Disney Pixar film Coco, is coming to Disney California Adventure. This is a first of its kind. There's never been a Coco attraction anywhere in the world. And to quote Disney, what they said, it said that this Coco attraction will draw inspiration for the attraction from beloved classics like The Haunted Mansion and Pirates of the Caribbean. Josh D'Amaro, parks chairman of the Disney Corporation, said, "We're bringing our skeletal cast of characters from Coco to life in a big way through the latest audio-animatronic technology." It was announced that work will start in 2026. We don't know when it will open, but work will start on it in 2 years. We also don't know where it's going to go in Disney California Adventure. I would think maybe close to Pixar Pier. That would make the most sense, as this is a Pixar ride, Pixar story, but remains to be seen. We've also been given, prior to this year's D23, we had already been given announcements that Avatar was coming to the Disneyland Resort. We got some more details about Avatar coming to Disneyland, and it will be going in Disney California Adventure Park. That's pretty much all we got. We got some concept art. We got a notion that while Avatar, the World of Pandora, here in Animal Kingdom in Orlando is based more on the first film, this new land is going to explore more of Pandora, the one that's coming to Disney California Adventure, and it's going to be, taking more inspiration from the second Avatar movie, Way of Water, and also the third Avatar movie, which is coming, called Fire and Ash, I think something like that. So new Avatar area we now know is coming to California Adventure. No further updates around that. No timetable, no nothing. Sticking in Disney California Adventure, one of my favorite areas in that park is Avengers Campus. And we have been told that there are 2 new attractions coming to Avengers Campus in California Adventure. We already knew about one of them. It had been announced previously, but we got a whole lot more details around it. And the second new attraction coming, we just heard for the first time just the other day, that announcement that it was coming. So the first ride will be called Avengers Infinity Defense. From Disney, technology that allows the Avengers to jump between worlds has gone missing, and King Thanos is using it to wreak havoc everywhere. Recruits will travel to iconic locations like Asgard, Wakanda, and New York City, alongside the likes of big and small heroes, and you also just might find yourself face to face with King Thanos too. Consider me intrigued. They also showed concept art of the ride vehicles that are going to be a part of this new ride, which is very interesting. And the second ride that got announced is called Stark Flight Lab. Stark for Tony Stark. Per Disney, you're going to sit down in 2-person pods and deployed to a test station, a flight test station. Then a robot arm grabs your pod that you're sitting in and starts whirling you around in a simulated flight. If you've ever been to Universal Orlando or even Universal Hollywood, Forbidden Journey, the Harry Potter attraction in Hogwarts Castle, uses a technology called a Kuka arm. It seems like this is going to be that as well. I don't know how robust this attraction will be. It might be a little bit more bare bones when compared to the other attractions. At least that's the vibe I got from it. But one interesting and cool thing is that depending upon when you go on the ride, it could be a different test. So kind of like Star Tours, you don't know your experience, what it's going to be, what planet you're going to go to until you actually sit down and ride. Apparently, there are going to be multiple different tests that you could do on the Stark Flight Lab. So there you go. I would assume that with these two new attractions and Disney saying that they're doubling the size of Avengers Campus, that shops, restaurant locations, food locations, additional entertainment would also come from this. But Disney has said that construction will begin for this new expansion of Avengers Campus sometime in 2025. 2025. There you go. There you go. A fair amount of notifications, of announcements when it comes to Disneyland. But where we got the bulk of the announcements was for Walt Disney World. Let's start with something that will be here before we know it. Because in summer of 2025, a new nighttime parade is debuting at Magic Kingdom. This will be the first nighttime parade in a very long time, and I am looking forward to it. Per Disney, this new parade will be called Disney Starlight, and it will continue the nighttime spectacular legacy started by the Main Street Electrical Parade, using the latest technology to tell new stories about the characters you love. All of this is brought to life by the magic of the Blue Fairy. Oh, the Blue Fairy will all be. In addition to beloved characters from Walt Disney Animated Studios films, Peter Pan, Encanto, Frozen, and more. Again, the concept art looks really, really, really cool. I love a good nighttime parade. I've been craving a nighttime parade for a very long time now. Anything to keep me in Magic Kingdom longer that isn't just for the fireworks. What does Disney do best? They do things that you can't experience anywhere else. Whatever that might be. Attraction, entertainment, nighttime spectaculars. A nighttime parade is something you can really only see in a Disney park, especially on this sort of scale. So to have it come back to my backyard in Magic Kingdom, yes, please sign me up. Summer 2025 will be here before we even know it, and I'm very much looking forward to that. A brief, I would say that this next one is it's an announcement. Okay, sure, of course it's an announcement. It's not one of the bigger announcements. That is simply that in 2026, a new version of Millennium Falcon, Smuggler's Run in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Hollywood Studios here in Walt Disney World will be debuting. If you've ever been on the ride is different each time you go on it, depending upon how good you are, I guess, how good you are at piloting the Millennium Falcon, how good you are at deploying the ropes and shooting things around you. But for the most part, you're going to the same places. The same things are happening, right? The experience stays the same from a somewhat storyline perspective. In 2026, it's going to be very, very different because The Mandalorian and Grogu, Baby Yoda, they have a new adventure, and it's coming to Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. An interesting point to note that this will be coming to all Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. So the Disneyland version of the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run is also going to get this new version. Per Disney, join the Mandalorian and his youngling on brand new adventures coming to Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run in celebration of the new Star Wars film, The Mandalorian and Grogu, coming to theaters in 2026. So much like what they've done a couple times now for Star Tours, where they've introduced new characters based on new Star Wars films and new Star Wars TV shows, they're doing that with the Millennium Falcon as well. New movie coming out in 2026, The Mandalorian and Grogu. Of course, this is some cross promotion for that. Looking forward to that. Any reason to get back on that and get a different experience. And of course, I love me some Baby Yoda. I love me some Baby Yoda. Let's go over to Epcot. Because while Epcot has completed, quote unquote, completed its expansion, reimagining that has taken years and years and years, one thing has closed recently for reimagining, and we received further details on when it would be reopening. The reimagined test track, which would be called Test Track 3.0, because it's already been reimagined once, that is going to be opening in 2025. What time of the year? Don't know. Just that it will be opening in 2025. Per Disney, new show scenes will be added, showcasing technological advances and how our lifestyles and relationships to mobility connect everyone. Enjoy a joy. What does it say? Enjoy a joy? Enjoy a joyride. Whew, that's a tongue twister. Enjoy a joyride through scenes focusing on onboard technology, OnStar, customization, and personalization. Oh, and it will be followed by a trip through a scenic outdoor route, reminding us all of the joys of driving, taking in the world around us, and spending quality time with friends and family. Wow, that sounds like a beautiful test track. A truly beautiful test track. It also sounds somewhat like World of Motion, which was actually the original attraction in this spot. World of Motion was kind of a dark ride. It wasn't fast or anything, but it kind of talked about man's evolving relationship with things that moved, I guess you could say. That's the easiest way to put it. But it kind of sounds like that a little bit when they say things like, showcasing technological advances and how our lifestyles and relationships to mobility connect everyone. That's what I get. I get that vibe, that old school Epcot edutainment, entertaining and educating at the same time. So that'll open in 2025. Always excited for Test Track. I love it. It's still going to go outside. It's still going to go wicked fast. But looking forward to it. Even though Epcot is quote unquote done with its reimagining, there's one more thing that was just announced that is coming to Epcot in 2025, and that is a new Spaceship Earth inspired lounge is debuting in the park. Per Disney, for over 40 years, Spaceship Earth has welcomed visitors to Epcot as a shining beacon of optimism and hope. This just announced lounge is inspired by the stories, shapes, and enduring legacy of this timeless icon. Taking inspiration from the geometric sphere, the Zen space to gather and enjoy refreshments will be draped with rich textures and warm metallic tones, giving it a mysterious and elegant intimacy. If I said it's going to be draped with rich textures and warm metallic tones, giving it a mysterious and elegant intimacy, I think a lounge would be about, the 10th thing I would guess when you were using those as descriptors. But we get it nonetheless. Where exactly in Epcot this is going to go, we don't know that. We don't know the time in 2025 that it's going to open. But if I could guess, I think it's actually going to be inside Spaceship Earth. Let me explain. When Epcot first opened back in the 80s, each pavilion was sponsored by a corporate sponsor. Some of them still are, other pavilions there are not. But when they were sponsored by the corporate sponsor, Disney would take that money, build the ride, and in the ride, they would build a sponsor lounge. That sponsor lounge could be used for employees who are visiting the parks to hang out in. So perfect example is Test Track. When it was World of Motion, when it was Test Track, it sponsored by GM, sponsored by Chevy, those sorts of things. There's a lounge in there where if employees of GM were in the park, they could take their families and chillax in there. Those sorts of things. There is one in Spaceship Earth. I would assume that that is going to be redone into this Spaceship Earth lounge. Stay tuned for more details on that one, though. But that's not the only lounge we're getting. No, there's another lounge. And this lounge is opening in Magic Kingdom. We actually heard about this last year at Destination D, but we now have confirmation that the tavern themed to Pirates of the Caribbean is opening in the Magic Kingdom in 2025. Per Disney, this will be a rambunctious watering hole, which will offer a welcome haven for all pirate kind, big and small, and everyone in between. Here, bandits and buccaneers to be from every corner of the seven seas are welcome to join together and raise a toast to the pirate life. X marks the spot for a seaworthy selection of grogs and grub inside this tavern location coming to Magic Kingdom Park. Again, opening in 2025. What part of 2025? We don't know yet. Two things I'm intrigued by about this tavern. One, intentionally, there's not been the word alcohol thrown out anywhere. They're saying tavern, they're not saying bar, they're not saying lounge like they did with Spaceship Earth, right? You can now purchase alcohol in the Magic Kingdom when you are seated at a sit-down restaurant. When Be Our Guest opened back in 2012, whenever it was, that was the first restaurant in the Magic Kingdom to serve beer and wine. Slowly but surely, that beer and wine option expanded to other sit-down restaurants in Magic Kingdom. And from there, now there's mixed drinks you can purchase. But again, you have to be seated. You have to be sit down at a sit-down restaurant to consume alcohol in the Magic Kingdom. This would be different from what I'm understanding. Yes, it's a tavern, so you would be seated, I guess, but a tavern could be like a bar. You could be standing. I would say there's not going to be a way for people to leave the tavern with alcohol if they do serve alcohol. Maybe this is more like a Oga's Cantina that's just offering mocktails, those sorts of things. That remains to be seen. The other thing that is a question is where exactly is it going to be? Adventureland, that's obvious. If it's themed to Pirates of the Caribbean, it's going to be close to Pirates of the Caribbean. But is it going to go into Tortuga Tavern, which is the little quick service restaurant that's open seasonally right across from Pirates of the Caribbean? Or is it going to go into a space called the Pirates League, or formerly known as the Pirates League, which is basically the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, but for pirate makeovers? That area seems very small. The Tortuga Tavern seems larger. Tortuga Tavern is all outside currently. So what's going to be turned into what? Or is it going to be a totally new space entirely? When they say 2025, that's still a quick time frame to build a structure from the ground up. So I would think that they're going to use an existing structure and reskin the bones of it going from there. But I'm still excited about that. Magic Kingdom always could use another spot inside to chillax. And if you're serving drinks, whatever they may be, I am here for that. I am here for that. Da-da-da-da. Okay, we're going to take a brief break from Magic Kingdom. More to come on Magic Kingdom. We're going to go over to the Animal Kingdom. From the OG Walt Disney World theme park in Magic Kingdom to the new G. New G? Sure, let's go with new G. Animal Kingdom. A brand new land is coming to the Animal Kingdom. It is a reimagining of a current land, but it is a new land, albeit, and that is the Tropical Americas. So this has been hinted at over the last couple of years. It's been hinted at, it's been officially announced, but now it is fully announced, and this is something that is 100% coming to Animal Kingdom. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, and we have more specifics. This is going to be taking over the Dino Land USA land in Animal Kingdom, and construction will begin this fall of 2024. That does leave some time to ride Dinosaur one last time. We are promised that because Dinosaur will be transformed into a new ride. Construction again for this new land beginning this fall of 2024, and the land will open in 2027. That's pretty awesome. So let's paint the picture of what the Tropical Americas coming to Animal Kingdom will look like. The town you will enter in this area is called Pueblo Esperanza. That is the town you will enter. It's the new 11-acre section of the park. Just like Harambe, this land of Puebla Esperanza. I love that name. Just like Harambe, the land is going to feel lived in. It's going to have a long, rich history. Plus, there will be a large hacienda, which will be home to one of the largest quick service restaurants at Walt Disney World Resort. I can't wait to find out what they'll be serving in that space when you think Tropical Americas Colombian food, maybe some Brazilian, maybe some Mexican. I don't know. I'm excited for all of it. I will eat all of it. You can guarantee that. So, a large hacienda, quick service restaurant. Additionally, the land in this area, the space will be lush and sprawling, featuring a large fountain in the center of town where the villagers like to gather and tell stories. Tell stories. Is that a hint? Is there going to be some entertainment component there? We'll see. Additionally, a wood carver from the town has created a giant working carousel featuring his favorite animals from Disney stories. Disney says it's a new take on a classic attraction, that being the carousel, that young families are going to love. I saw concept art for this. It looks really, really cool. Definitely a different type of carousel. Say what you want. You can't always have huge, massive attractions. You need these B, C, D style attractions, right, to kind of round out a theme park. And kids, especially little kids, they love the carousel. They're going to love it with wood carved Disney creature families, favorites, whatever it is. That's one attraction, but there are two signature attractions beyond the carousel that will be coming to the land. And the first is themed to Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones is coming to Animal Kingdom. Per Disney, a new Indiana Jones experience is set to arrive in Disney's Animal Kingdom, and it will be different from any other Indiana Jones experience around the world. In this new venture, the man with the hat has recently discovered a perfectly preserved Mayan temple. And that can only mean one thing: it's time to explore it. He's heard rumors about a mythical creature deep within the temple, and he's got to see it for himself. So he brings us along the adventure. Will there be snakes? We'll just have to wait and see. So one important thing to point out: when they make this announcement and they say there's still time to ride Dinosaur, Dinosaur will be reimagined into this new Indiana Jones experience. Out in Disneyland, they already have the Indiana Jones Adventure. The Indiana Jones Adventure uses the same ride vehicle as Dinosaur. Not only does it use the same ride vehicle as Dinosaur, it uses the exact same track, turn for turn. The only differences between Dinosaur in Animal Kingdom and Indiana Jones Adventure in Disneyland is everything around it, right? The story, Indiana Jones, dinosaurs, but the vehicles, turn for turn, the track, exactly the same. What I think is important to point out is that Disney intentionally went out of their way to say this is going to be unlike any other Indiana Jones attraction that we have around the world. So even though it's using bones, that is exactly similar to an Indiana Jones ride out in California, it's going to be different. So it'll still be the same ride vehicle, it'll still be the same turn for turn track, but everything around it, everything's surrounding your ride vehicle and the track is going to differ from the version out in Disneyland. That's what I love. I love to hear that, right? I don't want carbon copies of things in every park around the world, because then what's the point of having multiple parks? So I loved that Disney pointed that out. The second signature attraction coming to the tropical Americas and Puebla Esperanza in Animal Kingdom is a first ever Encanto themed ride-through attraction. Per Disney, this new attraction will feature the beloved magical family from the Walt Disney Animation Studios film Encanto. Inside the casita, and yes, if you know the casita from the film, they are building this in Animal Kingdom. It looked really, really cool. It looked like the windows and the doors open magically like they do in this magical house in the film. But inside the casita, Antonio has just received his special gift. His special gift is the ability to communicate with animals, and his room has transformed into a rainforest, and it's time to go explore alongside him. What will this attraction entail? What style will it be? We don't know. Most likely it's not going to be like a boat ride. It'll be something different, but we don't know. We don't know yet. All we know is that we'll be with Antonio in the beautiful casita. And we're going to be going all through the rainforest. Again, artwork which looks really, really cool on this. Excited. I like how this land has two very different intellectual properties, but it still makes sense, right? I think that this area, especially when you look at Animal Kingdom as a whole, you have Asia, you have Africa, you're going to have the tropical Americas. It makes a lot of sense, right? It makes a lot of sense. But that's not the only announcement for Animal Kingdom. This other announcement had been announced previously, but we have an opening time frame. So, in Animal Kingdom, in the Tree of Life currently is It's Tough to Be a Bug. It's been there since the park opened, way back when. A new 3D film will be coming to the Tree of Life Theater, and it is opening next winter. That is called Zootopia Better Zoo Getter. Oh boy, that's a lot tougher. It's together, but with zoo. Better Zoo Getter. Zootopia Better Zoo Getter. Ugh, that just doesn't sound right, you know? When you look at it, you see, you're like, okay, that's together and that's zoo and it's pushed together, right? And you look at it and you're like, that makes sense. But then when you say it out loud, better is zoo getter. Whatever. I'm here for it. You're going to Gazelle, you know, the pop star from the Zootopia film. You're going to her concert. I love that song that goes, I can only assume that that will be played. This is opening next winter. I'm no mathematician, but I've been racking my head trying to figure out what next winter means. Does that mean this winter, right? Or does that mean, because winter starts in December, but winter goes through next year? Or does that mean winter, December, i.e. 2025? I don't know. I think what I'm going to do is go December 2024, just wait. Wait and see if anything happens. Next winter, I guess it's 2025. I guess a lot of stuff is happening in 2025. That's what I'm hearing. But there you go. Plenty of stuff coming to Animal Kingdom, which needs a lot of stuff, even though we have Avatar, the World of Pandora, which is getting a little, not old, but it's been there for a while now. It's been a part of Animal Kingdom for a while, so this reinvigoration of the park is welcome. Let's move over to Hollywood Studios. This was one I did not see coming. I did not see this announcement coming at all. That is a Monsters Incorporated land is coming to Hollywood Studios. Per Disney, picking up after the events of Pixar's beloved film, the first one, humans have now been invited to visit the world of Monsters, Inc. And the monsters need laughter to power the city and keep it running smoothly. But it's not a true visit without the factory itself. You'll be able to see the sights, hear the laughs, and zoom through the building just like Sully and Mike Wazowski via a door. Disney Parks Chairman Josh D'Amaro said you'll go into the factory and experience the first suspended coaster ever in a Disney park. He went on to say, remember in the movie how those claws grab the doors, hoist them up into the air to take them away? We're doing that too. And you're going along for the ride. This has been a rumor since the movie came out in the early 2000s, 2001, that they should make a door roller coaster. Like the moving doors for Monsters, Inc., they should turn that into a roller coaster. That's what we're getting. The first ever suspended roller coaster from Disney. This looks really, really, really cool. I would assume that more is going to be a part of this land, not just one attraction, but some other things. Disney has stated that construction on the land will begin in 2025. That's really quick for when construction will begin. One big thing that we don't know, obviously, one, when it's going to be complete, and two, where will it go in Hollywood studios? If I were a betting man, I would say it would be in the Star Wars Launch Bay complex. So when you're in Animation Courtyard, Playhouse or Disney Junior, whatever it is on your right. Little Mermaid is on your left. Launch Bay is right in front of you. That's where it will be in front of you in Launch Bay. That's where you'll go into Monstropolis to see everything. I don't think they're going to get rid of the Mermaid, especially because they've invested a lot into it to reopen it sometime this year. I don't think they're going to get rid of Disney Junior. I think that appeals to kids way too much, but I think that that's a great place to put it. There's a lot of rumors going around that it's going to take over Muppet Courtyard. I just don't see that happening. There's a lot there. It's a big theater. Disney doesn't like taking away big theaters. They're people eaters. Mama Melrose back there still brings in good money, from my understanding. So I would say I think it's going to be in the Star Wars Launch Bay complex. Also, that could be potentially a way to connect to Toy Story Land and also Pixar Place a little bit further down, kind of keeping the Pixar theme there. I think that section makes the most sense. While we're on the topic of Pixar, Cars is another beloved franchise from Disney Pixar. If we go over back to Magic Kingdom, it was announced that 2 Cars attractions are coming to Frontierland in the Magic Kingdom. This I had no idea about. I didn't even hear rumors about any of this. This was a total shock, and I think a lot of people were dumbfounded, I think is a word, just because this is a big announcement for an area that it will be interesting to see how this works out, I guess we could say. But construction on these 2 new attractions is starting in early 2025. That's what Disney announced. Per Disney, one attraction will invite you on a thrilling rally race through the mountains. You'll take on wild terrain as you race across the landscape, climbing mountain trails, dodging geysers, and Mater's favorite, splashing through mud holes. But what about the smaller racers? The second attraction will be geared towards them and will be fun for the whole family. That's all we know about the second attraction. It's going to be fun for the whole family. So Josh D'Amaro, chairman of Disney Parks and Experiences, said, quote, "The American West has always been about keeping your eyes on the horizon, believing in yourself, carving your own path, and striving towards success. That goes for miners in the mountain, bears from the country, a princess from the bayou, or a race car from the big city." So that's, I guess, how they're intertwining it with the Frontierland motif. Whatever. I think this is how this is going to work. If the attractions are awesome, people are going to be fine with them being there. If they're not awesome, people are going to say, how does this fit into Frontierland? I don't understand it. I am an optimist. I am the type of person who would like to see something before I judge it. And that's what I'd like to see. A huge question mark is where this is going to be. Disney they stated that these attractions would be coming to a reimagined area of Frontierland. When you hear the word reimagined, that means an existing area that's already developed, that already has things in it, is going to be changed to a totally different area. Versus a new land which doesn't have any guest-facing structures or things like that. That's what a new land is, when a new land comes. A reimagining is when there's an existing land, an existing attraction, something like that, and it's redone in the style of Cars in this instance. When I hear a reimagined area of Frontierland, there's not a lot of space for an attraction in Frontierland. You think from Liberty Square to Big Thunder and then Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Tiana's Bayou Adventure and then Big Thunder. The only existing area that is a large area that is currently developed that could be reimagined is Tom Sawyer Island. Not a whole lot of people are over there very frequently these days. So maybe they're putting something on the island. How will you get to the island? Because you're certainly not going to get there just by a little raft. There's two major cars inspired attractions over there. So maybe the Rivers of America is no more. Or maybe there's a big bridge from the current Frontierland over to Rivers of America to make it that much easier. If that's the case, what happens to the Liberty Square riverboat? These are questions we don't know the answers to, but with construction starting in early 2025, that's right around the corner, I'm sure we're going to quickly find out what Disney has in store for this. Hey there, Connor from the future, chiming in to Connor from the past, because since I've recorded the episode, Disney has come out with further details about where these new cars attractions will be. So I want to read right from Disney and basically say, I was right. My intuition was right, because per Disney, it's time to leave Radiator Springs and head west into exciting new locations to make way for this completely new frontier, that being the two new cars attractions coming to Magic Kingdom. To make way for this completely new frontier, the Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer Island will be transformed into vast and rugged terrains for a rally race with some of the world's most iconic racers. So yeah, as you can tell from what I just laid out before about my questions around where this was going to go, it is going to go in the Tom Sawyer Island area. But the big thing is that Rivers of America is also going away. And with that, the Liberty Square riverboat will also be going away. So they're basically taking out all the water and they're just flattening the land, and they're putting in those two new cars attractions. I'm sad to lose the view of Rivers of America, but if we're being honest, I hadn't been on Tom Sawyer Island probably in 10 years, and I hadn't been on the Liberty Square riverboat probably in over 2 years, and I'm local. I go to the parks all the time. So I'll miss that kind of kinetic energy that the boat brings to the Rivers of America. I'll miss the rafts going over to Tom Sawyer Island, but from a standpoint of if these attractions are really, really, really cool, I think we'll forget about that flow, the water, those sorts of things, the view very quickly. Additionally, I think what else is this going to do? It's going to open up an entrance to Beyond Big Thunder and Villains Land from there. So you might be able to walk past Big Thunder. You probably will be able to walk past the Haunted Mansion to get to Villains Land in this new way. Again, the biggest expansion in Magic Kingdom's history. I just wanted to give you that quick little update on what Disney has shared with this new car stuff coming to the Magic Kingdom. One other thing that I like is that this isn't going to be Cars Land, like Radiator Springs or Radiator Springs Racers. It might be similar to that, but Cars Land out in Disney California Adventure in the Disneyland Resort is an incredible area inspired by Radiator Springs from the movie. I love that we're not getting that. We're getting two different attractions. I don't want carbon copies, like I said, in all parks around the world. I want different things. And these two things, while now it's might be a little head scratching to see how they fit into Magic Kingdom, let's wait and see what they become of. What becomes of them, and if we like them, great, and we can go from there. Probably the biggest announcement when it comes to the theme parks is one that had been hinted at last year, teased last year, when Josh D'Amaro, the chairman of the park, said, what if there was something beyond Big Thunder? Big Thunder Mountain roller coaster. What if there was something there? What if there was something beyond Big Thunder? And now it is confirmed that beyond Big Thunder is a Villains Land. Villains Land is coming to the Magic Kingdom. Again, this is already in development, not with construction, but Disney said construction will start soon. We don't have a date of when it's going to start construction. We don't have a year of when construction will start. We don't have a year when it will come to fruition, when it will open. We just know that a villain's land is coming to the Magic Kingdom. Per Disney, the space will be home to 2 major attractions, dining and shopping on an incredibly twisted, grand scale. Some important points about this announcement. Disney has said this is going to be the biggest expansion in the 50-year history of the Magic Kingdom. The concept art on it looks unreal. Over at Epic Universe, which is Universal Orlando Resort's newest theme park that's coming in 2025, they have a land there called Dark Universe, which is home, or it's going to be home to all the classic monsters that Universal has. So think Frankenstein's monster, Dracula, the Wolfman, Hunchback of Notre Dame, things like that. Will this compete with that? Can Epic Universe do Dark Universe better than Villain's Land? That all remains to be seen. What villains will be in Villain's Land? What do those 2 major attractions look like? Again, only time will tell. While this is probably the biggest announcement that a Villain's Land is coming to Magic Kingdom, it's probably also the announcement we know the least about. People are the most excited, but we know the least about it. But from what we know, we like what we hear, right? People love the villains. I love hearing 2 major attractions, dining, shopping, more to Magic Kingdom. So if this all comes out, Magic Kingdom's getting a lot in the next, 5 to 10 years, however long this might take. 4 new attractions. That's pretty remarkable. So it is a good time, I would say, to be a Disney World fan. But you know what else? It's a good time to be a Disney Cruise Line fan. Because this is an announcement I did not expect. Let's start with some smaller announcements from Disney Cruise Line that took place at D23 Expo. First up, the Disney Destiny, the new ship that is coming next year in 2025. It is confirmed that Disney's Hercules will be one of the Broadway-style shows taking place during sailings on board the Disney Destiny. Looks great. Love me some Hercules. I actually watched Hercules on my last Disney cruise aboard the Disney Magic while I was getting ready for dinner throughout the week. We also got further details about The Tale of Moana, which is the stage show debuting on the Disney Treasure, which is the new ship setting sail later this year. The new concept art we got for The Tale of Moana looks unreal. Looks really cool. I'm excited to see what that show is all about. So what do we know right now about Disney Cruise Line? Well, we know that there's 3 ships entering the fleet before 2026. We know that the Disney Treasure coming later this year, the Disney Destiny, and the Disney Adventure are coming next year. The Disney Adventure, of course, is the one that will be based out of Singapore. The Disney Destiny and the Disney Treasure based out of Florida. We know that. We also know that there's going to be another ship, so a 4th ship in development that is going to be sailing out of Japan, and it's going to be run by the Oriental Land Company, which is the company that owns Tokyo Disneyland. They own Tokyo Disneyland, but they license the Disney properties, they license the Imagineers, they pay Disney to build all the rides. That's how Tokyo Disneyland is set up. This is going to be a similar partnership. That new ship is going to be managed by them. So we know all that. I'll be honest. I was expecting that, hey, maybe we're going to get another ship announcement. Maybe we're going to get another 2 ship announcements. Well, it was announced at D23 that there will be 4 brand new ships coming to the fleet from 2027 to 2031. In addition to everything we already know, in addition to everything that's already in the queue, 4 more ships are entering the fleet. There are 5 currently in the fleet sailing right now, 4 in development, and 4 more on the horizon. Total that up, that means by 2031, the Disney Cruise Line is going to be a fleet of 13. That's about a new ship every 16 months unbelievable. That is awesome. I am so happy about that. One thing I thought was interesting was I was expecting two ships to be announced to come on board around 2028, 2029 that would then replace the Magic and the Wonder, because by then there would be 30 years old or over 30 years old by 2031. It seems like what Disney's saying is by 2031, we're going to have 13 ships in fleet, which means the Magic and the Wonder are sticking around for longer than I anticipated them sticking around for. So that's really cool. Oh my gosh, it's hard to say, what I'm most excited about, right? But I think the most important part is I'm excited. I'm pumped. I'm pumped for everything that's coming. I know things can change. I know things can be adapted, can lessen. Things I'll be more excited about than I was when they were first announced. Things I'll be less excited about by the time they open. Whatever. All I know is there's a lot in the queue, and Disney is intentionally investing a lot of money in the theme parks in my backyard and in stateside, in addition to everything else that they're doing. I'm looking forward to almost every single one of these things. And the things that I'm not overtly looking forward to, I'm cautiously optimistic about everything that Disney has announced at D23. There's so much to come, but what I want to know is, what are you most looking forward to? Send me an email, DM me on Instagram, comment below if you're watching on YouTube. What are you looking forward to the most when it comes to all of these D23 announcements? I'd love to hear from you. There you go, recap. So much was discussed. Oh my God, so much to come, so much to discuss, so many more details. But that's what we got from D23. It's a great time to be a Parks fan. It's a great time to start planning your next trip, even before all these things come aboard, because we know the parks are always busy. They're always fun. And even with all these new announcements, there's still some awesome stuff that goes on there every single day. There's your D23 recap. If you enjoyed today's episode and you're on YouTube, hi YouTube, please be sure to hit the like button, leave a comment, let me know you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel. Also, please be sure to follow our handle at Vacation Kingdoms across all the social medias. For those peeps listening on Apple, please be sure to subscribe and rate and review the show on there. I'll be sure to read future reviews on the show as well. Please, it just takes a couple minutes of your time, but it means the world to me. If you listen on Spotify, give us a 5-star review if you think we deserve one, and click the follow button on the show, as that will help others find us as well. If you are ready to book a vacation to Walt Disney World, you should book one before all of these things come on board. I'm telling you, it's still a great time to go to Walt Disney World, because even with all this new stuff that's coming, we have a ton of new stuff that's already opened. Tron, Tiana's, much more to come. 2025, we got a brand new nighttime parade coming. It's a great time to start planning a Disney trip, no matter what. I would love to help you plan that trip as the Director of Agent Development and a travel advisor. With Keys to the Castle Travel, I'll help you find the best deals, answer any questions you have, book dining reservations for you, and I'll be an advocate for you. Someone you can turn to for advice. The best part is, me helping you book your trip is absolutely free. It doesn't cost you a dime. Reach out to me at Conor, CONOR, at vacationkingdoms.com, and I can help you book a trip. And of course, if there is ever anything I could ever do to help you out, I would be more than happy to do so. Send me an email. I'd love to hear from you. That's going to do it for this episode of the Vacation Kingdoms podcast. I've been Conor Brown, and until next time, keep LTD, living the dream, and I'll see you real soon.